Welcome once again to your class on stress. As you have seen in the last class, we've spoken about what is really stress, what are the two kinds of stress, that is the eustress and distress, or to make it easy, positive stress or negative stress. Then we've looked at how it can have an impact on the cognitive level, at the emotional level, at the physical level, and then what are the things that we must do in order to be able to overcome stress. Which one is self-awareness will help us. The next is identifying the signs and symptoms. In today's class, like I told you last week, we will be doing a questionnaire. But before we go to that questionnaire, I would like you to go through this TEDx talk which talks about stress. Why I want you to listen to this talk is mainly because how we look at stress in our life will have an impact on us, and that it will, the kind of impact it will have depend a lot on what we think about stress. So you listen carefully to this TEDx talk, and then when we finish, we will come back to doing the questionnaire as well.
I have a confession to make. But first, I want you to make a little confession to me. In the past year, I want you to just raise your hand if you've experienced relatively little stress. Anyone? How about a moderate amount of stress? Who's experienced a lot of stress? Yeah, me too. But that is not my confession. My confession is this: I'm a health psychologist, and my mission is to help people be happier and healthier. But I fear that something I've been teaching for the last 10 years is doing more harm than good, and it has to do with stress. For years, I've been telling people stress makes you sick. It increases the risk of everything from the common cold to cardiovascular disease. Basically, I've turned stress into the enemy. But I've changed my mind about stress. And today, I want to change yours. Let me start with the study that made me rethink my whole approach to stress. This study tracked 30,000 adults in the United States for 8 years. And they started by asking people, how much stress have you experienced in the last year? They also asked, do you believe that stress is harmful for your health? And then they used public death records to find out who died. Okay, some bad news first. People who experienced a lot of stress in the previous year had a 43% increased risk of dying. But that was only true for the people who also believed that stress is harmful for your health. People who experienced a lot of stress but did not view stress as harmful were no more likely to die. In fact, they had the lowest risk of dying of anyone in the study, including people who had relatively little stress. Now, the researchers estimated that over the 8 years they were tracking deaths, 182,000 Americans died prematurely, not from stress, but from the belief that stress is bad for you. That is over 20,000 deaths a year. Now, if that estimate is correct, that would make believing stress is bad for you the 15th largest cause of death in the United States last year, killing more people than skin cancer, HIV, AIDS, and homicide. You can see why this study freaked me out. Here I've been spending so much energy telling people stress is bad for your health. So this study got me wondering, can changing how you think about stress make you healthier? And here the science says yes. When you change your mind about stress, you can change your body's response to stress. Now, to explain how this works, I want you all to pretend that you are participants in a study designed to stress you out. It's called the social stress test. You come into the laboratory and you're told you have to give a 5-minute impromptu speech on your personal weaknesses to a panel of expert evaluators sitting right in front of you. And to make sure you feel the pressure, there are bright lights and a camera in your face, kind of like this. And the evaluators have been trained to give you discouraging nonverbal feedback, like this. Now that you're sufficiently demoralized, time for part 2, a math test. And unbeknownst to you, the experimenter has been trained to harass you during it. Now, we're going to all do this together. It's going to be fun. For me. Okay. I want you all to count backwards from 996 in increments of 7. You're going to do this out loud as fast as you can, starting with 996. Go. Go faster. Faster, please. You're going too slow. Stop, 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 stop. That guy made a mistake. We're going to have to start all over again. You're not very good at this, are you? Okay, so you get the idea. Now, if you were actually in this study, you'd probably be a little stressed out. Your heart might be pounding. You might be breathing faster, maybe breaking out into a sweat. And normally, we interpret these physical changes as anxiety or signs that we aren't coping very well with the pressure. But what if you viewed them instead as signs that your body was energized, was preparing you to meet this challenge? Now, that is exactly what participants were told in a study conducted at Harvard University. Before they went through the social stress test, they were taught to rethink their stress response as helpful. That pounding heart is preparing you for action. If you're breathing faster, it's no problem. It's getting more oxygen to your brain. And participants who learned to view the stress response as helpful for their performance, well, they were less stressed out, less anxious, more confident. But the most fascinating finding to me was how their physical stress response changed. Now, in a typical stress response, your heart rate goes up and your blood vessels constrict like this. And this is one of the reasons that chronic stress is sometimes associated with cardiovascular disease. It's not really healthy to be in this state all the time. But in the study, when participants viewed their stress response as helpful, their blood vessels stayed relaxed like this. Their heart was still pounding, but this is a much healthier cardiovascular profile. It actually looks a lot like what happens in moments of joy and courage. Over a lifetime of stressful experiences, this one biological change could be the difference between a stress-induced heart attack at age 50 and living well into your 90s. And this is really what the new science of stress reveals, that how you think about stress matters. So my goal as a health psychologist has changed. I no longer want to get rid of your stress. I want to make you better at stress. And we just did a little intervention. If you raised your hand and said you'd had a lot of stress in the last year, we could have saved your life. Because hopefully the next time your heart is pounding from stress, you're going to remember this talk, and you're going to think to yourself, this is my body helping me rise to this challenge. And when you view stress in that way, your body believes you, and your stress response becomes healthier. Now, I said I have over a decade of demonizing stress to redeem myself from. So we are going to do one more intervention. I want to tell you about one of the most underappreciated aspects of the stress response. And the idea is this: stress makes you social. To understand this side of stress, we need to talk about a hormone, oxytocin. And I know oxytocin has already gotten as much hype as a hormone can get. It even has its own cute nickname, the cuddle hormone, because it's released when you hug someone. But this is a very small part of what oxytocin is involved in. Oxytocin is a neurohormone. It fine-tunes your brain's social instincts. It primes you to do things that strengthen close relationships. Oxytocin makes you crave physical contact with your friends and family. It enhances your empathy. It even makes you more willing to help and support the people you care about. Some people have even suggested we should snort oxytocin, right, to become more compassionate and caring. But here's what most people don't understand about oxytocin. It's a stress hormone. Your pituitary gland pumps this stuff out as part of the stress response. It's as much a part of your stress response as the adrenaline that makes your heart pound. And when oxytocin is released in the stress response, it is motivating you to seek support. Your biological stress response is nudging you to tell someone how you feel instead of bottling it up. Your stress response wants to make sure you notice when someone else in your life is struggling so that you can support each other. When life is difficult, your stress response wants you to be surrounded by people who care about you. Okay, so how is knowing this side of stress going to make you healthier? Well, oxytocin doesn't only act on your brain, it also acts on your body. And one of its main roles in your body is to protect your cardiovascular system from the effects of stress. It's a natural anti-inflammatory. It also helps your blood vessels stay relaxed during stress. But my favorite effect on the body is actually on the heart. Your heart has receptors for this hormone. And oxytocin helps heart cells regenerate and heal from any stress-induced damage. This stress hormone strengthens your heart. And the cool thing is that all of these physical benefits of oxytocin are enhanced by social contact and social support. So when you reach out to others under stress, either to seek support or to help someone else, you release more of this hormone, your stress response becomes healthier, and you actually recover faster from stress. I find this amazing that your stress response has a built-in mechanism for stress resilience. And that mechanism is human connection. I want to finish by telling you about one more study. And listen up, because this study could also save a life. This study tracked about 1,000 adults in the United States, and they ranged in age from 34 to 93. And they started the study by asking, how much stress have you experienced in the last year? They also asked, how much time have you spent helping out friends, neighbors, people in your community? And then they used public records for the next 5 years to find out who died. Okay, so the bad news first. For every major stressful life experience, like financial difficulties or family crisis, that increased the risk of dying by 30%. But, and I hope you are expecting a but by now, but that wasn't true for everyone. People who spent time caring for others showed absolutely no stress-related increase in dying, 0. Caring created resilience. And so we see once again that the harmful effects of stress on your health are not inevitable. How you think and how you act can transform your experience of stress. When you choose to view your stress response as helpful, you create the biology of courage. And when you choose to connect with others under stress, you can create resilience. Now, I wouldn't necessarily ask for more stressful experiences in my life, but this science has given me a whole new appreciation for stress. Stress gives us access to our hearts. The compassionate heart that finds joy and meaning in connecting with others. And yes, your pounding physical heart working so hard to give you strength and energy. And when you choose to view stress in this way, you're not just getting better at stress, you're actually making a pretty profound statement. You're saying that you can trust yourself to handle life's challenges. And you're remembering that you don't have to face them alone. Thank you. Thank you.
I mean, this is kind of amazing what you're telling us. It seems amazing to me that a belief about stress can make so much difference to someone's life expectancy. How would that extend to advice? Like if someone's making a lifestyle choice between, say, a stressful job and a non-stressful job, does it matter that which way they go, that it's equally wise to go for the stressful job so long as you believe that you can handle it in some sense?
Yeah, and one thing we know for certain is that chasing meaning is better for your health than trying to avoid discomfort. And so I would say that's really the best way to make decisions, is go after what it is that creates meaning in your life, and then trust yourself to handle the stress that follows.
Thank you so much, Kelly.
Thank you.
It's really cool.
I'm sure you would have enjoyed listening to it, and that maybe for some of us, we would have got an idea that probably yes, our thoughts does really matter. Our thoughts are very important. What we think about a particular situation is very important. And if you want to overcome any situation, 50% depends a lot on what we think about it and what we think we can do about it. So remember, whenever you face any kind of stress, do not think that stress is negative in your life, but rather take it in a much more positive way. Now, quickly, keep your pen and pen and paper ready. We'll go to the questionnaire as well. This questionnaire will show how stress can affect different parts of your life. Now, please listen very carefully. Write the response which best indicates how often you experience each stress indicator during a typical week. When you have answered all the questions, add the point total for each section. Now you will have to rate them accordingly, okay? 5 if you almost or always, that is 5 days in a week, you feel that way. Put a score of 4 if it is most of the time on 3 days a week, let's say. That's an example. Put a score of 3 if it is some of the time, that is on 1 or 1.5 day a week. Okay. 2 if almost never, that is less than 2 hours a week. And 1 if you've never experienced it. Okay. Remember, we don't need to be in a hurry, but you need to be honest if you want to really see what is going on in your life, or if you want to really know about stress in your life. You'll have to be very honest. You don't need to lie. Anyways, you are the only one doing this questionnaire. You don't need to show the score to anyone also. But remember these rating, okay? 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So let's take a look at this physical indicator. Anyways, for your reference, I've kept on top 5 for almost, that is if you experience it 5 days a week. 4 if you've experienced it 3 days a week. 3 if you've experienced only 1 or 1.5 day in a week. 2 is almost never, that means only for few hours you've experienced it. And 1 if you've never experienced it at all. Okay, remember we are doing this in a week. Okay, think of a time span in a week. So take your pen and pencil. Sorry, I forgot to tell you beforehand. Take your pen and paper and start writing it down. You don't need to write the statements, okay? If you really want the statements, you can take from us a little later. But otherwise, look at the screen and just put the rating. Just write number 1, this is the rating. Number 2, this is the rating. Number 3, this, okay? If it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, whichever you want to put the rating. Now, number 1, my body feels tense all over. That means there's a jittery feeling. You feel tense. You don't feel too good about your body. So quickly, if it's almost always or 5 days a week, put 5. If it's at least 3 days a week, put 4. If it is 1 or 1.5 day a week, put 3. If it is just for few hours, put 2. And if you've never experienced it in the week, then put 1. Number 2, I have a nervous sweat or sweaty palm. Okay, that means your palm are always sweaty when you have to do something, or when you are tense, or when there's something important that is coming up, whether that goes on for a week or only 3 days or only one and a half day or few hours, or you've never experienced it. So rate accordingly. Number 3, I have a hard time feeling really relaxed. Okay, so put either 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Number 4, I have severe or chronic lower back pain, not upper back pain. Okay, there's a big difference between these two. Number 5, I get severe or chronic headache. That means a headache which you cannot bear. Okay. Number 6, I get tension or muscle spasms in my face, jaw, neck or shoulder. Muscle or tension spasm is almost like you cannot move. You feel it so difficult. It's very painful to do anything. Number 7, my stomach quivers or feel upset. You feel like there is something in the stomach that you want to go to the loo all the time, but then you don't feel like going. There's a very confused feeling. I get skin rashes or itching. Remember, the skin reacts very quickly to stress. Okay, for some people, maybe not all, but skin reacts very quickly. I have problems with my bowel, constipation or diarrhea. Okay, we'll move on to number 10. Remember, please note above, I've written for your kind reference the rating scale. Number 10, I need to urinate more than most people. My ulcers in my mouth could be bothers me. Number 12, I feel short of breath after mild exercise like climbing up 4 flights of stairs. That means little bit of walk also. I start feeling short of breath, or I'm panting too much, or I feel like I'm not getting enough air to breathe. Number 13, compared to most people, I have a very small or very large appetite, whichever it is. But here number 13, please indicate, okay, just for your reference, whether it is very small or very large, so that you will understand for yourself. My weight is more than 15 pounds higher than what it is recommended for a person with my height and build. That means you are overweight, okay, by 15 pounds. Then I eat or smoke tobacco. Next, number 16. Again, for your reference, the rating scale is above. Number 16. I get sharp chest pain when I'm physically active. That means you feel like there's something poking. Okay. I lack physical energy. I do a little bit of work also. I feel tired. When I'm resting, my heart beats more than 100 times a minute. Remember, all these things you would have not gone for a test with the doctor, okay? But it's just a feeling that you have. Number 19, because of my busy schedule, I miss at least 2 meals during the week. So you have to think properly whether that happens to you or no. I don't really plan my meal for balanced nutrition. That means I just eat whatever I get. I spend less than 3 hours a week. Okay, not 3 hours a day, but 3 hours a week getting vigorous physical exercise like running or playing basketball, football, tennis, swimming, etc. So that is with the physical. What you do is at the end of this physical, if you've put all the ratings, now you put one slot or one small space that you can put the total of all your ratings for the physical indicator. Okay, now let's go to sleep indicator. Again, the rating is the same. I've kept there on top. I have trouble falling asleep. Put 5, 4, 3 or 2 or 1. I take pills to get to sleep. I have nightmares or repeated bad dreams where you have to wake up in the middle of the night, or you feel scared going back to sleep. I wake up at least once in the middle of the night for no apparent reason. Okay. Number 5, no matter how much sleep I get, I awake feeling tired. There are many people who feel this way. Okay. So after this, after rating the sleep indicator, again put down then the score below here. Okay, here sleep indicator point total, put that down as well. Now let's go to behavioral indicator. Now the rating again I've kept for your reference on top. I stutter or get tongue-tied when I talk to other people. That means you know what you want to say, but when you have to talk or when you have to tell them, you feel you don't feel confident enough, or you are unable to bring out words. I try to work while I'm eating lunch. Could be lunch, could be dinner, could be breakfast. I have to work late, indicate whether 5, 4, 3, 2 or 1. I go to work even when I feel sick, or I do my work even when I feel sick. Then I have to bring work home. That means work that has to be done at college, or things that needs to be done with others or outside, but still for me I still have to bring it home. Then please be very careful the next few questions, because some of us we might not want to really say, but remember this questionnaire can be done privately, so you can be as honest as you can. I drink alcohol or use drugs to relax me. How often do you do that, if you do that at all? I have more than two beers, 8 ounces of wine or 3 ounces of liquor a day. Okay. How often do you do that, if you do it at all? When I drink, I like to get really drunk. That means in plain simple language or modern language nowadays, so you want to get sloshed. I get drunk or high with other drugs more than once a week. When I'm feeling high from alcohol or drugs, I will drive a motor vehicle or go on for a risky behavior as well. Let's move on to the next. Number 11. I tend to stumble while walking or have more accidents than other people. How often does that happen to me? In any given week, I take at least one prescription drug, that means prescribed, okay, by a doctor, without the recommendation of a physician, like example amphetamines, barbiturates, all of that. That means these are prescribed drug. Prescribed drug out here would basically mean you can buy it from a pharmacy, but you don't have you are not doctor has not really prescribed it with for you. Number 13. I have problems with my sex life, with my sexual life also could be. Please don't take this in a negative way. Many people, when they see this word, they take it very negatively. It's not negative, very much a part of human nature. Don't get worried. At least once during the week, I will make bets for money. That means either I go on, does not basically mean that you'll have to go and do any kind of betting activities outside, but very small ones as well. After dinner, I spend more time alone or watching TV than I do talking with my families or friends. That means I'm alone most of the time. Number 16, I arrive at work late. Any work, need not necessarily, because most of you are students, I can understand. It is not work as in go to work, but for any kind of work. At least once during the week, I have a shouting match with a co-worker, supervisor, or could be at home when I'm doing anything. Then here you put down your total as well for behavioral activity. Now the next we will go is emotional. Again, the scoring keys are there. How often would you say, I have found the best way to deal with hassles and problems is to consciously avoid thinking or talking about them? How often do you would say that? Then number 2, I have trouble remembering things. Many of us would go through this. I feel anxious or frightened about problems. I can't really describe them. Overthinking, you worry also. I worry a lot. Number 5, it is important for me not to show my emotions to my family. How often do you do that? It is hard for me to relax at home. Number 6. Number 7, it's best if I don't tell even my closest friend how I'm really feeling. Remember, how often do you say this to yourself? Or how often do you feel this? Number 8, I find it hard to talk when I get excited. Number 9, I feel very angry inside. Number 10, I have temper outburst and I can't control them as well. So put your ratings out there. Number 11, when people criticize me, even in friendly, constructive way, I feel offended. You'll have to really think, okay, because this is in terms of 1 week. I feel extremely sensitive and irritable. Number 13, my emotions change unpredictably and without any apparent reason, without any good reason. Number 14, I feel like I really can't trust anyone. Number 15, I feel like other people don't understand me. Number 16, I really don't feel good about myself. Number 17, generally I'm not optimistic about my future. When I say optimistic means I don't feel positive. Number 18, I feel very tired and disinterested in life. I don't want to think about it. I get so tired. Number 19, impulsive behavior has caused me problems. Impulsive means without thinking. Number 20, I have felt so bad that I thought of hurting myself, okay, in any ways hurting myself. 21, when I have an important personal problem I can't solve myself, I do not seek for professional help or even help from others. Now, after putting your rating, again put your total score around here. Now, we'll go to personal habits. The ratings are here on top. Okay. Number 1, I spend less than 3 hours working a week or working on a hobby of mine. Number 2, that means if you have a hobby at all. Number 2, I spend less than 1 hour a week writing personal letters, writing a diary or writing creatively. Number 3, I spend less than 30 minutes a week talking casually with my neighbors. Number 4, I lack time to read the daily newspaper. Number 5, I watch television for entertainment more than 1 hour a day. So put your ratings out there, okay? Number 6, I drive a motor vehicle faster than the speed limit for the excitement and challenge of it. That is if you're driving. Number 7, I spend less than 30 minutes a day working towards a life goal or ambition or even think about it, okay? Number 8, my day-to-day living is not really affected by my religious belief or my philosophy of life. That means what I believe in does not really coordinate at all. Number 9, when I feel stressed out, it is difficult for me to plan time and activities to constructively release my stress. Now again, put your total score here. If you feel I'm going too fast, you can pause and at the same time do the questionnaire, do the rating. Now we are done with all the rating. So now what we'll do is from your total score, okay, you will have to look. No single question in this questionnaire proves you are experiencing stress. But by looking at the results of the groups of questions, it may be possible to define what area of your life stress affects the most. To determine these areas, add the circle number in each section and mark the point total for each section with an X or a circle on an appropriate box, or you can write it down as well. For example, among physical, if you see the total, if it is 22, you put a circle here, 22. If it is 48, put 48 here. Then sleep, if it is 5, put here. Okay, or if it is 8, so you see where you are. Okay, this section will tell that stress is very low, it's not affecting so much. Medium here, high here, very high, and dangerous. Now it is up to you to decide. Okay, for many of you who might be having very low, then you just need to be aware in the future. For those who have medium, probably you can start working on it by becoming more aware of what you're doing. If you're having high, then you really need to start taking steps to improve your own life. Very high could become dangerous for you as well, because you never know what is going to happen next. Then if you are at a dangerous level, you need to talk to someone, or you at least talk to your family member, so that you can take steps, so that stress will not affect your life in such a way that it will be difficult for you to even deal with it at all. Note the areas where you showed very high or danger levels of stress. These are problem areas you should focus on when you develop your personal stress management plan. Then if you have no point totals in the very high or dangerous zone, well, very good. Congratulations, you are doing a very good job of managing your stress. In your personal stress management plan, always focus on building stress resources or stress prevention through aerobics, exercise, nutrition, sleep, all of that. Early warning signs on the lines below. Write the 3 signs which occur earliest and most regularly when you're under stress, so that you'll know which are your indicators. You may want to look back at your questionnaire to get an idea of what is your early warning sign, and these signs give advance notice of being stressed and allow you to identify what causes you stress and take action before any serious problem. So take a look again at this questionnaire. Okay, find out what are your indicators. Find out what will really tell me that, okay, now is the time that I need to take some action. Okay, I am under stress right now. I need to think about it. I need to do something about it. So questionnaires, basically, that is what they will do to you. They'll help you to identify, to be a little bit more specific. So if you feel that maybe the questionnaire that you did just now haven't really given you much thought, or you haven't been able to get any idea much, go through it once more so that you'll know, and then write down the points, because this is on screen, so you might not be able to note down, to underline it or to tick. So you note down those points which actually gives will tell you that they are your indicators that you are under stress, and all of that. And remember, like I said in the beginning, stress can be good, can be bad as well, or rather stress can be positive and negative depending on how you take it. All of us, we go through stress. Stress is also equally important in our life, and that it brings out the best that is there in us. So please don't say that little bit of stress also will be dangerous, but a little bit of stress will help us to function to our best ability also. But you need to know how to handle your own stress, and what might be stressful for others may not be stressful for me, and what might be stressful for me may not be stressful for others as well. So different people react in different ways as well. So I hope you've been able to gain something from this class today. And with that, we will take a leave from the class today. Thank you and have a blessed day. And to end this class and to make it de-stressing, I hope you have a nice time and enjoy your dance.
Healthy music for a child's heart, body, and mind. I am the Music Man. From the CD Brain Breaks Action Songs, Let's Move by the Learning Station. I am the Music Man. I come from far away and I can play.
What can you play?
I play the piano. Pia, pia, piano, piano, piano. Pia, pia, piano, pia, piano. I am the Music Man. I come from far away and I can play.
What can you play?
I play the violin. Violin, 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 violin. Piano, 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 piano. I am the music man. I come from far away and I can play.
What can you play?
I play the saxophone. Saxophone, 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 saxophone. Violin, 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 violin. Piano, 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 piano. I am the music man. I come from far away and I can play.
What can you play?
I play the big bass drum. Big bass, big bass, big bass drum. Big bass drum, big bass drum. Big bass, big bass, big bass drum. Big bass drum. Saxophone, 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 saxophone. Violin, 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 violin. Piano, 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 piano. I am the music man. I come from far away and I can play.
What can you play?
Well, I can play everything. And here we go. Hit it! Play that piano. Play that violin. Play that saxophone. Play that big bass drum. Question time. What was your favorite instrument? Was it the piano, the violin, the saxophone, or the big bass drum? Please let us know in the comment section below. You can get I Am the Music Man on Brain Breaks Action Songs Let's Move in CD or full CD download at www.learningstationmusic.com. See the video playlists playing? You could view them just by clicking. And please become a Learning Station friend and click on the big red and green subscribe button. Follow us on Pinterest and Twitter and like us on Facebook.